evening. Enjoy your evening.
May I be the first black person to say that if an old white woman or anybody who's white disrespects you in public, y'all need to start knocking their ass the fuck out. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt because they fucking racist. They was raised off that. Fuck the police. You need to fuck their ass up. It's 2021 and y'all white motherfuckers still racist. Ew.
Hey yo, what up? Top Dog, Grand Champ, DMX. And I'm with my man, DJ Ace, the cut lieutenant. Get at me, dog. Dip it, dip it, dip it. What? A time for crying and a time for laughing. A time for mourning and a time for dancing. A time for throwing stones. A time for embracing and a time for avoiding embraces. A time for, ooh. A time for embracing and a time for avoiding embraces. What? Come on. A time for searching and a time for losing. A time for keeping and a time for throwing away. A time for tearing, a time for repairing. A time for keeping silent and a time for speaking. A time for loving and a time for hating. A time for war, a time for peace. I mean, like I said, it goes back to, you're gonna start with a prayer, you're gonna do this with a prayer. Yo, there are no words more powerful than the book. And your prayer, your own prayer.
Baby, get away with the baby. Stack back with the baby. Oh my Jesus. No. Okay.
Just stop!
Get back with the baby, sweetie. Baby, get her one taste. Okay, calm down.
Relax.
Okay, don't choke him. Just calm down, sir. Calm down, sir.
Relax.
Okay, Jesus.
Relax. Relax. Relax.
Okay.
Relax. More. Look, got a little mustache. I'll fuck you up. You know that, right? I will beat your ass. Look. He got his little stick. He got his look at him. He got his stick. He gonna put his helmet down. I'll beat the shit out you. You know that? Do you know that? Do you know that? I will fuck you up differently. You got you a team with you. That's cool. And I'm cool with that. But with me and you together by ourselves, not with them, and it's cool. And I'm glad y'all hold each other down like that, because we don't hold each other down like that. But with just me and you, I will fuck you up badly. You hear me? I will fuck you up something different.
Stop it. Stop, please. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm scared. Lady, will you call somebody, please? Please. I don't have nothing, sir.
Okay.
I don't have nothing.
Fair enough.
Let me go to see my friend.
Put your hands on the steering wheel for me.
Will you please let me go see my friend?
Put your hands. Stay in the car. Put your hands on the. Stay in the
friend.
car.
Please.
Stay in the car. Stay in the car. Turn around and stay in the car.
I gotta go to the bathroom really
Stay in
bad.
the car.
Please let me go see my friend. I gotta go to
Stay in
the
the
bathroom
car.
really bad. You're not
Put your hands on the
listening to
steering
me.
wheel.
You can't hear me. Why?
Step it up.
Why? Huh? Why? Would you? Ow! Stop! Don't hurt me!
Stop
Don't
right
hurt
now!
me.
Stop!
Don't hurt me!
Stop!
Don't hurt me! Don't hurt me!
Get off of me, bro. Get on the ground, dude. Why are you punching me?
Stop punching me.
Why are you punching me?
Stop punching me, bro. Yo, you around, bro. You around, bro. You good, bro. Stop punching me, bro. Oh, y'all niggas going crazy, bro. Yo, chop head.
Welcome to Black Comics. It's funny when that music plays. You guys thinking about those videos that you just saw? Is that
yeah?
Yeah.
We need to get some hard music, man. We need we need to get some permission from Public Enemy or something to use one of their songs for this show, man.
Oh.
That music don't match the show, man.
No. That's why I was laughing, because after playing that video, then we play that upbeat kind of music, and you just don't feel like getting into it after watching those videos.
What I noticed is that every other week, Dez is dancing to the music.
Yeah.
Except this week.
Yeah. It's a heavy week. It's a heavy week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo, man.
Yeah.
And one of our fans, one of our number one fans that watch the show, suggested that we do some comedy, man. I think we would all like to do some comedy, man, but these times right now, man, it's just so heavy and deep, man. I don't know how we can do a show right now and be funny. It's just so much stuff that just affects us personally, you know. I shed tears this week, man. I shed tears this week watching the George Floyd trial. I mean, trial, man. Not George. I apologize. The Derek Chauvin trial, man. I shed tears, man. It's been that type of week, man.
Yeah, I mean, I call it the George Floyd murder trial.
Yes, sir. You are correct.
And honestly, I mean, you look at, I mean, there's video of a man being murdered, and we need to have a trial. And I know we got to go through a whole trial and everything, but
American way.
Yeah, but there's video right there, and you have the lieutenant saying that once George Floyd stopped resisting, there was no need to keep kneeling on his neck. You know what I mean? You kneel on anything's neck for 9 minutes, it's gonna die. Anything for 9 minutes is gonna die. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. Today we're gonna talk about the George Floyd murder trial that's going on. I want to get into we're gonna get into the psychological effects that police brutality has on Black people. We talked about this on the show before. Black people and white people react to the police differently, very differently. I drive by the police as everyone on the panel. When I drive by the police sitting on the side of the road, I keep checking my rearview mirror. 10 miles out, I'm still checking my rearview mirror. You know what I mean? I'm in my house. I'm still peeking out the window. Are they coming? Seriously, I mean, Gerald talks about Preach talks about getting his license, everything ready. You drive by, you just start getting stuff ready.
Yep. You know? Yeah.
And
that's August. And my license comes up for renewal in August. I'm starting now.
You know what, guys? We're pretty hard on police officers, and we should be.
Yeah.
Because there's so many dirty cops with badges. With that being said, I was disgusted and heartbroken to hear about the officer losing his life yesterday at the Capitol. You know, we get on cops all the time when they do bad stuff, and I don't know if this guy was a good cop or a bad cop. I just know a man lost his life yesterday doing his job.
Yeah.
On Easter weekend, you know, and he has kids and family, and so I want to send my prayers out to him, man, and his family. It's very sad. I mean, I was sad about this cop losing his life yesterday. I saw the picture of him. He was a white officer. I still was sad about it, you know.
Yeah.
We spend these shows every week talking about racism in America, but we have hearts. We're not racist people, you know. We care about the cop dying yesterday, you know, and we don't care what color he was, you know. a cop lost his life yesterday that shouldn't have lost his life, you know?
Yeah.
And,
right.
You know, it's sad, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've said on the show many times, no matter how racist a white person has been to me, I would not watch them die. I could not watch a mob of black people grab a white person and string them up on a tree or try to, you know what I mean? I couldn't do it. I couldn't allow it, you know, and it's just something that we all have that other people don't seem to have.
Hey, Carl, did you see Cornel West, your dude? Did you see him on Don Lemon show the other night?
No, I didn't.
When you get a chance after this show, you need to Google Cornel West on Don Lemon show the other night, and he brought it, man. He brought Don Lemon to tears, actually. He went into his thing, man, just started talking. Don Lemon just broke out in tears, man. It was that deep. But he has said what you just said. He could not watch. He basically said he couldn't even have stood there and watch what happened to George Floyd. He would have basically probably got hit with a billy club or tased or shot, because he would have actually physically went and tried to get that dude off. He said no way he can sit there and watch George Floyd die like that. And I'm not saying anybody should have rushed the cops, because we already know what happened. If they do that, they're gonna get shot or tased or injured. But him personally said he couldn't have stood there and watched it. You know, he would have intervened somehow. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, we talk about race, and it's not in a hateful way. We even when we talk off the air, when we have our meetings on Tuesday, we never say we hate white people or let's go get those white people. It's never anything violence attached to it. You know, it's always about us finding solutions, and that's what not just you guys, it's any group of black people I've had a conversation with about race. It comes down to two things: what did we do to these people? That's always the number one thing. What did we do to these people, and how can we find our way around all this BS racist stuff we got to deal with? It's never let's go out and get anyone. And I've told this story before. I was at a gas station. This was about 10 years ago in Connecticut, and this white lady pulled up in a caravan. It was old and beat up, and she had like a bunch of kids. And one of the kids say she was putting gas in the car. She's going to put $10. And one of the kids asked if they can get some candy. She said, no, I only got $10. And I heard all of this. So long story short, I used my car to fill up their car so the kids can go buy candy or whatever. And I'm not even going to say I didn't see color, because I saw a white family, but I did it because they were kids and they were human beings, you know what I mean? And I felt something when I saw that, you know, and it had nothing to do with them being white. But I'm not going to say I don't see color, because I saw a white family, but I also saw human beings, you know?
Yeah, I think when people say that I don't see color, that's kind of a cop-out, because you know, there are many, many different colors, different races, different ethnicities. And for you to sit there and go and blindly say, oh, no, I don't see color, that's trying to, like, you kind of whitewash the world. Well, I don't mean whitewash, but you're trying to, you know, put the world in one vision, and that's not true. You should see color, because that way you can value each and every different nationalities, each different ethnicities' contribution to this planet.
Yeah. Which goes back to the point where how come the cops that stood by, we don't expect the bystanders to attack the cops or push them off of Mr. George Floyd, because then they're going to be endangered, you know, with tasers or mace or guns or whatever. But the other officers who had the power to go over and take Derek Chauvin's knee off of this guy's neck without getting tased, shot, or hit, or whatever, didn't do it.
When they had the expert police testimony, one of the officers said that they know that once a guy has been subdued, if he's on his chest, they have to either put him on his side or sit him up, because with his hands cuffed behind him, his chest can't expand enough for him to get enough oxygen. Right. They're taught that in the academy. They're taught that when they're learning to be a policeman. So it's obvious that not only did they know what they were doing, the other men were complicit in it.
I didn't realize. I saw a video. I don't know if you guys saw the video of George Floyd in the store, and he hugged the girl next to him. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
He wasn't happy. He was smiling. He hugged the girl next to him and everything. But he's a huge man. So when he said that he was claustrophobic, people don't realize that the back of that police car, and I've been in the back of a police car before, they're small. I mean, I'm 6'2". George Floyd is much bigger than me. But if you get in the back of that car and you're handcuffed and you're claustrophobic, it's not a lot of air back there. You're in a cage, like, you know, even though it's a car, it's caged. And a person that's claustrophobic will freak out back there, you know. And he's a big dude. So, yeah, I tried to put him in that little cage car back there. When he was saying I'm claustrophobic, relate, man. I can relate. But he's
one of the things we also learned this week is that America has a double standard. We all know that. But I have a quote here from Bishop Talbert Swan. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's out of Springfield. But basically, he says, George Floyd is Exhibit A, that opioid addiction is only viewed as a public health crisis if the user is white.
Wow.
Floyd's use of opioids has been used as justification for his murder. This hypocrisy is racism.
Because a lot of adopted, and Tanya, I'm going to come to you next. I know you haven't gotten a chance yet. But a lot of states, the state I'm in, have adopted a policy where if the police suspect someone's having an opioid overdose or they're on opioids, they carry something called Narcan with them.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, it's like you said, it's a hypocrisy at its finest. Before I get to you, Tanya, we have a new I guess you'll call it watcher or listener. Andy Dunlop, he says he's from Manchester, United Kingdom, West Manchester. You guys familiar? You guys know that?
I've been there.
Yes.
Manchester.
Andy, welcome, Andy. Thank you for watching the show. Say hi to the Queen for us. Tell her we'll be over next summer. We'll be performing.
Bye.
Performing at the Buckingham Palace barbecue.
For Archie.
And so regulars, hi Gina, hi Michelle Henson, Donna, hey, what's up, Donna? Hey, good. Thanks to all of y'all for watching. And go ahead, Tanya, because we were talking about how it's got to be a psychological effect for a black people to watch what's going on, but you can take it in any direction.
First, I want to say with the opioid piece, you're right. They have all these double standard laws that I can't figure them out. When they say, "Oh, weed is legal," and then they say, "We'll carry your Narcan." I carry a Narcan because I used to be a substance abuse counselor, so I carry one. And what am I carrying it for? Why don't the police have one? If they thought that he was on drugs, then wouldn't there have been a different response? I'm just saying. I think that they're not. Something's. Well, we know what it is. I believe it's racism that's going on. But if it was true, what they were saying about the drugs and this and that, then wouldn't you respond to a call different? Because I've seen footage of cops responding in Massachusetts, or let's say, or Vermont, to addicts and literally saying, "Oh, you need help? Yeah, I need to go here and I need to do this and that." I'm like, so that's a different response than we get with George Floyd, if that was the case and that's what they're saying. But it's irrelevant to me because there is nothing that can justify that 9 minutes. Absolutely nothing to anybody, any human being handcuffed. So that's number one. Number two, the psychological effects. Wow. I mean, I'm going to talk from the kids' perspective. I feel absolutely horrible for our children because as of now, you can pretty much say the media has had a melee, just a whole effect on the images that we've seen just in the last few months. Forget the whole year. The whole year has been traumatic. But to see this happen and then to see that it's still taking all this justification in a courtroom because American law is, even though we saw it, we still have to, you're innocent until proven guilty. So we still have to prove him guilty no matter what we saw. I can't imagine what young people are thinking right now. If this guy walks, it's just going to say a whole nother level of not only do I not care about you, but I can kill you in front of everybody, including your mom and your daddy, and get away with it. That will be a travesty. And that's going to cause young people and people in general, not just young people, suicidal, homicidal. You're going to have addiction rates have probably already gone up, but people that are dealing with this internal racism that's happening, they don't say it sometimes. Sometimes they manifest it in like, yeah, I'll just go get high, or I'll just have a drink, or I'll just do whatever and go deep into it. sometimes that's how it manifests. So we're going to see a lot more of that in the African American community, which is probably part of what some people would like to see us do. So I tell all the people watching, hold on and hold out and never give up, because we're a great people. We've been through so many atrocities. If we're still standing, I don't think that this is going to be the end of us, and you shouldn't either. So that's all I can say.
Yeah. Glendine Carter just asked a question that I myself was asking all week, and I was actually going to make a post about this. Thanks, Glendine, for reminding me. She asked, why is Derek Chauvin taking notes? Right? You see how much he was just writing and writing and writing. Like, what could he possibly be writing? You know what I mean? Why is he taking so many notes? You know, what could he be possibly writing? I killed that nigga. I killed that nigga. I killed that nigga. I killed that nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What else could he be writing?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the defense.
Huh?
The defense?
No, Derek Chauvin was writing notes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Derek?
Yeah. Derek Chauvin, the murderer.
No, I can't.
Taking notes.
That's an insult.
Yeah, he's taking.
You shouldn't be allowed a pen.
Yeah, when the girl that made the video of him killing George Floyd, when she was on the stand and she was crying and said she wished she could have done something, how guilty she feels, he was taking notes when she was up there.
Yeah, that's intimidation, I think, in the form of body language.
You know,
like, yeah, whatever you're saying really doesn't mean much to me.
And they talk about not showing remorse. He does not look like he is sorry in the least. He does not. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He's not holding his head down. He's not showing like, oh man, I'm sorry, I messed up. I didn't mean to kill the guy. You know what I mean? He's just stone faced, like, just get me off. He's just sitting there saying, just get me off.
He's not remorseful in any way.
Yeah,
he's hoping that even if he takes one for the team, they'll give him leniency and they'll be nice to him in jail, which is probably what will happen. Because the day is, if you kill a Negro in public, you get rewarded for it. That's kind of how I feel right now. That's just a thing.
Yeah. Michelle Henson asks, any thoughts on whether or not Chauvin had a problem with Floyd having a white girlfriend?
We don't know for sure if he knew that, right?
Yeah.
We don't know, yeah. Well, they were friends. They knew each other from the club they worked at. That's what it was alleged. That's what they said.
They both worked security at the same club.
Mm-hmm. So, and he might have been, I think, just my opinion only, I think Chauvin was jealous that the ladies liked Floyd. They thought he was very, they liked him. They, from what I heard them say, that he was, charming, whatever you want to call it. Even though he was an addict, if he was, people liked him. They really genuinely liked him. So I think that would have pissed him off a little too.
Well, what would have been interesting about that is Chauvin himself had an Asian wife. So for him to
he had an Asian wife, did he?
Yeah, he had an Asian wife who divorced him. But for him to take that position would be very interesting.
Well, I mean, a lot of racist guys have black girlfriends and Asian.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That means nothing.
Color, so that's nothing new.
Nope.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's another show, man.
That's a good show. Yep. Because also she may not have been particularly in love with black folk either. So that's another story. We'll go on to that later. Another story.
Yeah. I mean, Charlene Ford said the video, how smug he looked in the video. How smug Chauvin. Yeah, and the fact that he put his hands in his pocket, right? You put your hands in your pocket. That putting your hands in your pocket puts all your body pressure on the neck.
That's why he did it. He did it like you can look at his face, body language, and tell. Look at this. Not only am I going to do it in front of the camera, but I'm going to put more pressure on it. He did it on purpose. Absolutely.
I'm killing the nigga, and nobody can do anything about it.
Exactly.
We also found out during the trial. I mean, me personally, I have people in my family that have drug habits. So. They still have jobs. George Floyd still worked a job. He still had unemployment. He had a job up until COVID. Took his employment away, like it's done so many of us. In this country and around the world because of COVID. So he had a job, right? He went to work, every night or every day. A security guard, So he was a functional guy. He wasn't like run around with hypodermic needles sticking out his arm 24/7. He had a life, you know. He had, you know, a girlfriend, a job, a Mercedes Benz, you know.
$20 bill, which
You know.
may have been fake, but
Who knows if he even know he had that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no evidence that he knew he had that $20 bill that was fake either. I'm not saying that he didn't know. Maybe he did, but maybe he doesn't know, you know?
The guy that took the money said he didn't think Floyd knew it was fake. He said he didn't try to, you know what I mean? He didn't act like he didn't.
We saw the footage. He was very cool in the store. He was laughing and smiling and hugging people and chilling in the store. He wasn't like he was in there committing a crime. He didn't know he's on camera, by the way, either, you know? I don't think he did, but he's in the store. And he didn't know that this footage is going to come back and the world's going to see it, you know? And here he was in there doing his thing early in the morning, you know, in the store, buying cigarettes and saw some girl he knew and gave her a hug or whatever. He was just smiling in the photo, you know, and then he's dead 20 minutes after that footage, you know, but, you know.
Yeah, go ahead, Tanya.
what about the fact that, and we can talk about it after Preach. I know Preach hasn't said anything yet, but what about the fact that no one has mentioned this? I wonder how the clerk feels that called the cops.
Oh, he was on the stand. He testified. He said
he cried.
Yeah, he said maybe if he hadn't called the cops, if he had just given back the money to Floyd, he wouldn't be dead.
There you go. Boom. Yeah. That's it. Case closed.
Yeah. Well, he said that. Yeah, he said that the store policy is, real quickly, is that if they take a fake $20 bill or fake bill, it comes out of their paycheck. That's management policy. Yes. It's like a waitress when you're waiting tables and somebody walks out on you, you got to pay that bill. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. So if you take that fake 20, and he said that he should have just took the loss. You know, he just wish he would have took $20 loss instead of this guy ended up dying. You know, over $20 basically. And when you walk up, it's not even a felony. When you walk up and put your gun out, hitting the windshield with your gun, telling the guy to open the door, or a $20 bill it's not even a felony. It's not even a freaking weekend in jail. You know, did y'all see the footage of the police officer with the gun out, telling him to get out the car? He had his gun out, telling George Floyd to get out the car.
Yes.
He approached the car with a gun, you know, knocking on the window like this with the gun, telling him to get out the car. Like, it wasn't even a serious crime. Even if he knew he had the $20 bill, the crime doesn't fit anything that happened.
Yeah. When did counterfeiting or having a false $20 bill become a death penalty?
Exactly. And my store policy was that you just tell the manager and that's it. You don't go, hey, why do you got to fake 20? You don't try to be hero. You don't try to go and call no cops. You just tell the manager and they come and deal with it like that. Our policy for 7 years was never call the cops and let's convict the guy. I mean, it's a fake $20 bill. I did a tax sale once. Someone gave me a fake $10 bill. I didn't know it until an hour later when I was giving someone change and turned it over and saw it was nothing on the back, and it got me good. So, but did the person know? I think she knew, but would I call the cops? No.
Desi, what do you think about the psychological effects of what we see on Black people?
What I'm finding is, me personally, it's almost like the movie Roots. When the movie Roots came out, and we saw a visual depiction of the abuse that that chattel slavery had on people. It was very traumatic. It was very world shaking. And I'm seeing the same thing. I've seen the video and now I'm reliving it. And psychologically, I'm in the same mindset as Roots, where I start questioning everything. Not much is funny anymore. It's hard to find humor. And for me, whenever I'm very uncomfortable, I go to humor. That's my go-to thing. And so for me to not be looking for the jokes and not trying to see what's funny about this is really something that lets me know that I'm being affected psychologically by the events.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it all goes back to they just treat Black people like we're stronger, like we're more violent, we're more angry, we're more everything, right? I mean, that's the way, not just the police, but in general, that's the way the world reacts to Black people. Like we got superhuman strength, you know what I mean? The only thing we don't have a lot of for them is intelligence, right? But everything else, we're more angry, we're more prone to violence. You know what I mean? You need 50 police on one black man. You know what I mean? Gerald talked about when there was the floods in Texas, and they showed white people coming out of stores with stuff, and they showed black people coming out of stores with stuff, and the news said, here's some black people looting, and then the news footage for the white people is here's some white people what they're finding food or whatever. You know, they found some food
so they could survive. Yeah,
right. So it's just for some unknown reason, which we can't put our fingers on. I don't think they just everything increases when it comes to black people. You know what I mean? And me as a black person, there's things that I think about that I know white people don't think about. And a couple of weeks ago, I think I told you guys this during a meeting, during one of our Tuesday meetings. I don't think I said it on one of the shows, but I was in the supermarket, and now they have the reusable bags. And there was a white dude shopping with a reusable bag, and he was putting his groceries in the reusable bag as he was walking around. He's just putting stuff in the bag. But then he got to the cashier and he just took the stuff out. And I just watched that come like, there is no way. There is no way. I would walk around the supermarket, put in the bag. Comfortable. He was so comfortable doing it. Yep. And to me, that's white privilege. That if anybody wants a great example of white privilege, that is white. Because I know the store security was watching. Yeah, I have a million cameras in the supermarket. Every aisle has a camera. Yeah. Some 2 cameras on one aisle. So you know they're watching, and they're watching this white guy put groceries in a reusable bag. But then he goes and he pays. Cameras in the supermarket, right? But that is something that I could not do, because I am so when I walk into a store, I know they're watching me. I know they're watching me.
That's the thing too. At a very young age, around 13, 14, you start learning how to spot the store security, because they follow you. They try to be nonchalant. When you look over to them, all of a sudden they look at the product and pretend they're looking at it, and then they sneak a look over to you. So one time I was in New Jersey, and someone was doing that, and I said, "Look, dude, if you're gonna follow me around, can you hold my groceries and carry it around with me if you're gonna be security?"
Good for you. Good for you. That's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure if there's a solution. I mean, because we all keep coming back to the same thing. You know what I mean? There's something about black people that makes some people nuts. What are we gonna do?
Well, I think it's the fact that you created a narrative that scares you about us. How about this? Don't think of us in such a negative way, and you won't be as afraid as you are. Start thinking of us more positively, and you'll be less afraid. You created a narrative that scares yourself.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Is that real though? Preach. I mean, is that just an excuse, or is that real? Like, is Dirk Sherman a guy who's been on the police force for 19 years, who carries a gun, mace, billy club, have backup officers on the scene? Is he really afraid of George Floyd? You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, or is that just an excuse that they use to shoot us, kill us, choke us, or whatever? You know, Eric Gardner got the same thing. He's a big black guy. Oh, he's a big black guy, you know. But you had 7 or 8 cops there with you, all with guns.
Right.
This is not the, I mean,
And
Eric
then to be
Gardner, or even if George Floyd wanted to kick y'all ass, he probably couldn't have done it, you know. I mean, there's just no way he'll be able to. There's not a movie where some one guy going to take out 7 or 8 freaking cops with guns, you know. It just doesn't happen in real life, right? You know, so I mean, I think that's just an excuse they use. You know, we're afraid. I don't think they're afraid of us at all.
Well,
they're afraid.
That's true in the sense that they're not afraid, and you know, but they use that because they know, if I justify it by saying I was fearful for my life, you know, they'll get away with it. But I'm thinking as a whole. See, when you create a narrative that, okay, and it started with Birth of a Nation with W.D. de Klerk's movie, where the newly freed slaves running rampant through the countryside, robbing, pillaging, and raping white women. And the Klan came in as the heroes to save the day. See, that's the narrative they started. And it's somehow like they still believe that.
Yes.
That's
Go ahead, Tom.
you hit it on the head. That again, I always go back to media, guys. I'm sorry, but it's a double fold. So like you said, Kevin, they're not afraid. Like, you know that the guy's handcuffed. He ain't doing nothing. I don't care what you do. He's not doing anything.
Right.
And I know because I've been in a cuff before. You're not doing anything.
Right.
But the narrative is told to the mainstream media and public so that they be like the Zimmermans, right? That's where you get that. And then the officers have, like you said, justification. Because if you say you're afraid and your life is in danger, that's automatic. You're right, no matter what happens. Even if the guy was, if they had him, doesn't matter how they have him. I call it, the white man clause. Whoever made that law, they made it because they knew they were going to do something grimy. So they wanted to have a little clause to get out of it. That's what I call it. So no offense to anybody, but that's what I call it. I call it old grandfather's white man clause. Double entendre law. But they're not afraid. You're right. Absolutely correct. It's not afraid. You're just trying to keep people in fear and tell them that and show them images so that people say, "Oh yeah, I was scared," but that's not the case.
I mean, that was Zimmerman's excuse. He was afraid of Trayvon Martin. How you gonna be afraid of a guy? You got a gun. You follow this kid. And the police told you not to follow him. You still followed him. Then you get in a fist fight, get your ass whipped by this young boy, and then you shoot him to death. Because he was beating your shit out of you, probably. Because you followed him for no reason, but you want to be a hero. And then you're afraid for your life. You're afraid, and why are you following him? If I'm afraid, if I see some guy walk down my street and I go out and follow him, that means I'm not afraid.
Thank you. Really not.
Yeah. Michelle Henson is telling a little story kind of similar to mine. She said, an acquaintance told me a story of locking herself out of a car back in the day and was using a coat hanger to open it. Cop came up and offered help. Guess what? One guess on her race.
She was Mexican.
She saw a lady trying to open a car with a coat hanger and offered help. One guess on her race.
I had the same situation, Carl. My brother and I were trying to break in my car. I remember I was driving a Nissan at the time. We tried to break in my keys inside, still in the ignition, sitting in the ignition. The window, we got a coat hanger going and trying to open up that latch. And the police on a motorcycle pulled up. We were driving on a big motorcycle called a Hog. He pulls up a motorcycle, black cop.
Yeah.
Out. What y'all doing? So, man, I'm trying to get in my car, man. I left my keys in there. Man, this dude, you would think we was robbing the bank. He was so hard on us, man. And I was like, he's like, let me see your ID. I'm like, it's in the fucking car. I snapped it because, my wallet was in the car and my keys. And I was so already angry. The fact that he pulled up and didn't want to offer to help me.
Right.
Yeah, he just automatically assumed we're breaking in the car, and he was a black guy, a black cop at that, it just pissed me off. I snapped at him. I said, it's in the fucking car. And he got on his motorcycle and rode off. And then he was getting the car.
Yeah.
One point I'd like to make is that this is part and parcel to why the dominant society gets so upset when we challenge any of their old racist ideals, because it takes away their excuses. Like, they can say they were afraid of black people, they feared for their lives, and it's partly because they've been programmed that black people are not the same as them, they're lesser than. And so when we start knocking down their myths and their ideals, they lose their mind. Like, even with the Dr. Seuss showing black people boiling people in pots and stuff, that teaches children to be afraid. Then they grow up with that same fear, and they don't really rationalize that they were conditioned since birth to have that feeling. And that lets them justify mistreatment to us.
I always fight back with this argument when people talk about fear of black people and how white people were taught to fear us, right? We have video and photographic evidence of white people hanging black people. We have it, right? We have video and pictures of white people stringing up black people on trees and white people taking pictures. We have documentation of black people being burnt alive, right? And when they're right, when all of these atrocities, we have evidence of it. All the stuff about black people is stuff that's made up, like, oh, like tales, like people made up stories about us. But we are still not afraid. And I mean, we should be fearful. That's what I don't understand. You guys get what I'm saying? Like,
yes, we should walk. Like, oh my God.
But we are, man. Look, I mean, George Floyd, before he was put in handcuffs, or before he ended up on the ground, was already scared for his life.
Yeah, but Kev, white people walking down the street coming towards you, you don't feel fear. Or one white dude, right? But me or you, I'm sure you have cleared a sidewalk, right? Or made white people cross the street, right?
Right.
I have never had. That's never had an effect. Even if I was walking by a biker gang of white dudes, Proud Boys. I mean, I'm going through. I might die, but I'm going through.
I was gonna say, I'm still going.
I don't have that fear. So how is it that their made up shit outweighs all reality?
Yep.
You know what I mean? That is just that I just don't get that. How it
I think some of it's guilt, brother. Some of it's guilt because they know what we went through. And then some of it's just pure ignorance, man. You know, I have a comedian Facebook friend, and I don't want to get too much off subject, but we normally do that in our show anyway, right?
Yeah, that's what we do.
A comedian Facebook friend who posted on his Facebook page today, leave effing sports alone. It's the only thing we have where we can escape. You know, he's a white guy, first of all, and he's referring to the baseball All-Star game being moved out of Atlanta, you know.
Yeah.
So he doesn't see all the pain that African Americans go through with voting and all that stuff. Only thing he cares about is the baseball game, you know. He don't even care that most of the baseball players are ethnic, you know, Hispanic men and from other Latin countries and black. He don't care about that either. You know, he don't see that half of baseball is made up of mostly people that aren't white at this point, right?
Yep.
All he sees is a game. He don't see that the voting problem that people, black and brown people, have to go through, you know. And he puts up this silly ass post complaining about a baseball game instead of and totally ignoring why they moved the freaking game out of Atlanta. You know, it just drives me crazy, man. How insensitive people are to our plight, man. You know. And here's a guy, I won't mention his name, but he's a guy who served, he was a Marine, served in the military, been doing comedy for like 30 years. He's not that freaking good, but you know, he's okay. Yeah. But he's okay. But you know, but he's a veteran. He's been in the business for a while, man. But you know, and he served in the Marines, man. So, but here he is on Facebook bitching about a baseball game and not even caring about why the game is moved.
Right.
Why Kemp, I think Governor Kemp passed his Jim Crow laws, you know, in 2021 to make it hard for black people to vote, because it's all rebuttal because Georgia turned blue. You know that. We know this.
Right.
You know?
We all know voting is one of the most patriotic things you can do, and for them to limit it or try to regulate it the way it has been done, we want a valid election, but it's obvious that they don't want everyone who is eligible to vote. Go ahead, preach.
Well, it goes back to, you know, as Kevin says, he's more concerned about the game and what before were blacks and other people that were let in the country. They were entertainment. You know, when Massa had his friends over, get your banjo, get your violin or whatever you're gonna play, and entertain us. Entertain us, and that's what it is. I want to watch my baseball. Let them niggas go out there and entertain me. Just like when they told LeBron, "Shut up and dribble. We don't want you involved. We want you to entertain us. Just dance, do your little jig, entertain me, amuse me."
They preach. Is this social media though? Because from what I saw, from what I understand, boycotting is not new.
No,
we celebrate. Most white people celebrate Dr. King's birthday. Do they realize that he was the king of boycotting? You know,
they celebrate his birthday because they get a day off from work with pay. That's what they're doing.
Exactly.
They get a sale. I can go to a sale, get some sheets on sale.
That's exactly it. Because that's right, Kevin. It's been around forever, and boycotting. I mean, I think it's effective and it works. And I like the fact that they took the baseball out of Georgia, because you have to hit people. If you don't hit people in the pockets, there's not going to ever be a change.
Yeah, and finally, the thing is, okay, Kevin, okay, the guy said don't touch sports. Okay, you can't touch sports. We can't kneel. They don't want us to protest. They always say find a different way. This is not the venue for it. This is not where to do. Where is a good time, a good place, and a good way for Black people to get some change?
You're saying the magic word. You said there. Here's the thing. The healing starts, and when we don't care about what other people think, we do our thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I know for a fact when my mom and them sat on a bus, now I can go on a bus because they sat. Whether someone didn't like it or not, white people didn't like, oh, you're not going to shop at my store. They figured, who cares? They don't need their money. When they saw that the pockets was hit, you better believe things change. And if you got to hit people in the pockets, that's my final answer for all solutions for us as far as being treated equal and being, who cares? I don't care what you think about me. I could care less. I'm not giving you my money. I know that.
And it's going to follow. There should be more. But Governor Kemp comes on TV today. CNN ran the story. Comes on, makes an announcement. First, he gets a big round of applause from a bunch of white people standing behind him. And then he comes out and blames Joe Biden and Stacey Abrams, for what happened, with the baseball league. You guys are buttering up to Joe Biden and Stacey Abrams. That's what he said out of his mouth, like literally on national television.
Yeah, you can do anything.
He has no remorse. These guys have no remorse.
The one thing we've learned from the Republicans is that what is good today is bad tomorrow. They will flip-flop at the drop of a dime. So you can't really put any weight on any of their statements, because they were big saying the Democrats were child molesters and trafficking children. The whole QAnon was all about stopping child trafficking. And then a prominent Republican from Florida, Gates.
Yeah, Gates.
He's almost like it's just a matter of time before he gets charged and then silent.
Yep.
If he was a Democrat, they would be losing their minds.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
or look at the people who donated large amounts of money. Look how much money Jeffrey Epstein used to give to them.
Mm-hmm. He gave a lot of people to find out about.
The Epstein story,
They're all.
I would like someone who says that Black people, we shouldn't kneel, we shouldn't protest, we not during the baseball game, not during the football game, not during the give us some examples. Has anybody ever given us examples of where and when and how we can protest and effectively get some change?
No, because they can't. They won't.
It's not worth the time or pace for us, right? So, okay, tell me how to do it then.
Well, they told us over the summer, man, Carl. Remember over the summer when we was having all the riots and the looting and thanks to Breonna Taylor and the George Floyd murders, that we spent the whole summer watching all this stuff happen around the country, right? And everybody on social media was like, won't you guys be more like Dr. King? Won't you march peaceful like Dr. King? Didn't y'all shoot him for being peaceful?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Carmichael said. You shot him for being
peaceful. You shot him for being peaceful. So
not only that, his approval rating,
right?
Yeah. His approval rating was way down when he was doing all that. They like him now because he can't really affect them the way he could when he was alive. Because he was coming for reparation. That was the next move, so he had to go.
And that's why he had to go. And I watched something with Carmichael, what's his name? And I just saw something that made me think twice about that whole piece. Because what did he say? He said he killed the most peaceful man in the Black community, and so all bets are off. It was Carmichael. Stokely Carmichael said it, and I was like, I thought about that, and said, you're right. He was the most peacefulest of all of us, like talking on leadership, and they killed him. So what else is there for us? Like, I don't understand.
Wow, look at that! It's going to cost Georgia $100 million for moving that they're going to lose $100 million revenue out of that state.
Lost revenue,
yeah. But he's trying to twist it now that you're costing people jobs and money.
We don't have jobs as a corona, remember?
I mean,
but he doesn't see what he did as people losing anything, right? Oh, we're gonna lose $100 million. We're gonna lose some jobs. What about people losing their rights to vote? What about that? What about people?
They talk like I mean, like they do racist things, and then you say it's racist, and they go, "No, it's not racist." You know what I mean? Or they go, "No, we're not trying to suppress the black vote." But you're doing that, and it's right there for everyone to see. But then they come out, and it's almost like they figure if they lie enough, eventually we're going to believe it.
And that's exactly what they're doing. And I was going to say, we have to stop caring or thinking about what anybody thinks or says about us. It's all about the dollar. We take our dollars out of whoever's affecting us. I guarantee you will see change, because you see all this stuff you're talking now, like, oh, no jobs, no this. You watch as you take more dollars away, you'll be hearing them saying more and backtracking real quick and backpedaling real quick. When you mess with people's money, I guarantee you they will do whatever you need them to do.
Yeah, but
one of my favorite public personalities is Tariq Nasheed, and one of his expressions is, "I'm white and I say so." Because when you look at some of the things that they say and the complaints they have, there's no logic behind it. The real logic that they have behind it is, it's because I'm white and I say so.
Right, and that's how we have to think.
Sorry, Kevin, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's okay, brother. It's okay.
I'm glad you said that, Desi, because I've been in like certain areas or certain buildings or certain neighborhood where white people think I'm not supposed to be, right? And it's like just regular old Joe Schmo white people will come up and question me like I'm supposed to answer them. No badge, no uniform, no billy club, no gun, no nothing. Just a regular old raggedy ass white person coming up asking me, you know what I mean, questions. Like I was in a building, one of those swanky buildings in New York City, waiting for a friend, and this white dude just walks up to me, and just one thing white people always say about me when they get a complaint from anybody, that I'm rude. Because how I respond to racist white people is by saying nothing. They always say he's so rude. They will tell, that guy is so rude. But I know what you're doing. And Gerald, preach. I'm standing in a building. You be white. We didn't rehearse this. All right. In the building, and you just be white, and I'll show you how I react to white people. I'm just standing there. Just mind my business.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. Hi, how you doing today? I noticed you over here. This is a pretty exclusive building. We have a security camera here. We have a guy at the front desk. I was just wondering, is there something you're looking for? Maybe I can help. Because I know it's confusing. We have a maze of hallways down here, and I wouldn't want somebody getting lost and wandering around aimlessly, not knowing where you're going or anything. I could direct you in the place we can go up front and talk to the security there, and they could direct you where you need to be.
And that's how I respond to white people, I just ignore them, right? So they walk away and go, "That guy, he's so rude. He's just so rude."
Rude. He just ignored me.
I'm opposite.
This is a fun game. We should make up more scenarios.
I know. I'm opposite. I hate to say it. But I literally, if someone told me that, I'd say, "And who died and left you in charge of the building?"
I say, I'm thinking of buying this building, and I was looking around to see what I can value it at.
But that white person, if they had to relay that story to somebody, right, they would say to that person, I was just asking that black guy some questions, and he just totally ignored me. That's so rude. It's your bullshit. I saw through all your bullshit racist questions.
I was trying to be helpful.
What about the one where like you're on a train or somewhere? I was on a Metro North, and this lady grabbed her pocketbook, and there's like 2 seats open, and her husband's sitting there like, "You got your protection, what?" I have on a Ralph Lauren suit. I look pretty dapper myself, I thought. Okay, she grabs her bag as soon as I'm not even at the seat yet. She grabs her bag, And I said, girl, this is not a Chanel, the new one. So that's not going to do. If I was a robber, that bag would not do it. Where'd you get that from? Target? And she was like, oh. So I'm just saying.
I never get it because, like, I'm on the elevator and the white lady, you know, same thing, grabs a bag. We're in a 4x4 box. Bitch, if I was a criminal, I would just beat the shit out of you and take your stupid bag. Right?
It's like,
where are you gonna go? I mean, like, you're only pissing me off. If I'm a real criminal, you just piss me off.
Yeah, don't underestimate me as a criminal, okay?
You know?
Like, at least know I like Chanel, okay?
You know, we are locked together for 30 seconds in the little, and you're doing this and think that it's going to deter me from taking your stupid pocketbook. You know?
That's what beating up white people in the elevator.
So, what about I just want to take shit? I said, man, I wish I knew how to be a criminal. I for just 1 second, I'll just take all your shit just for the hell of it.
No, that's not gonna hit him. It's better. I had a lady grab her kids once at a high-end health club. She grabbed her kids. I was like, I won't say what I was gonna say right now. But let's just say I added an extra word, and I said, "Girl, I can't even take care of mine. I damn sure don't want yours." She was like, I was like, the poor kids. I felt bad for them. They're gonna be like thinking every time they see somebody black, like, "Ooh, mommy was gonna try to protect us." Like, I'm not a criminal. First of all, like, don't assume that I'm a criminal just because I'm black. Like,
hey, how do you guys act when the exact opposite happens? Like, I was in Target. A little, like, say, a 3 or 4 year old girl. She's in the cart with her mom. She's white. She looks at me and says, "Hi."
I love that.
I was almost doing backflips. And I thought my reaction was not cool because I was like, "Hey, little girl, how you doing? What's your name?" It was way over the top, but I was just so
I love
happy that someone would do that. It threw me off.
Yeah. It tells a lot about her mother.
Yeah.
That's what that means. I love that. That tells me everything I need to know. You don't have to say nothing. If your kid looks at me or looks at you, you know, African American and or Asian, whatever, and says hi, that tells me right away there's no prejudice at all installed in them yet.
Right.
So I'm very ecstatic. I'm with you. With you.
And it would be even funny if mommy, like when I was a kid, I was 5 years old. I was in the store and I said, "Mommy, is that guy black or is he white?" And when I was 5, I said it really loud, like, "Mommy, what is that guy? Is he black or white?" And my mom was trying to like shush me down, like, yo. And I'm, "Ma, is he black or is he white?"
Oh my God.
She's like, "I would just call him a man."
Good for her. Yeah.
He was passing. That's what he was doing.
Well, it's funny we're talking about kids because Carl, if we were to sum things up on this whole trial and racism that's happening and things that are happening, if we was to sum it all up, it does go back to childhood. So even if I'm a cop, right? If I'm a bad cop, something happened before that. Way before that. Way before that. I know lots of great cops, and they are great cops not because they have a badge, not because they have a helmet or whatever, because their parents raised them to be great people. So when they put on a uniform, that was just a great person in a uniform that now is a cop. So when something happens and he's confronted with a situation that he's not familiar with, he doesn't respond with fear and anger. He responds out of, let me see how I can work this out, rather than what some people I believe are trained to do. Shoot now, ask questions later. Do you see the difference? So we're talking about kids, to me, is a great segue into the fact that that's where we have to start if we want to see change. Your children.
And when you say a great cop, I did get pulled over one time. I'm freaking out. The policeman says, "Look, it's not a big deal. You have a headlight out. I just wanted to give you a warning, let you know. Don't be upset. Don't be worried." And I was just like, whew, so happy that he opened with that.
I mean, I've never been a cop, but I mean, people say it's hard. You know, I think you always got to be on your guard. But one of the videos I showed at the beginning was the cop interacting with a guy who clearly has mental issues or some kind of disability. The last video with the guy in the car, you can clearly see by the way he's talking that. Do you remember that video, the last one I showed?
Yeah, when he said he got to go to the bathroom and they're like,
Yeah, I mean, can't police recognize that this guy is not? This is not the normal. You know what I mean? And react differently. He continued to treat him like he was a threat. You know what I mean? So maybe police are trying to treat everyone the same, which, you know.
And Des, you're lucky, man, because so many people get pulled over for that tail light and then get sent to the morgue, you know.
Yeah.
That's right. I know.
You're black, you know. I mean, look, Sandra Bland, for example.
Yes.
Got pulled over for the dumbest thing ever, making a right-hand turn or something, or something stupid like that. And then the cop pulls her over, and, you know, next thing she's dead, you know, 24 hours later, you know. So, yeah, I mean, they just don't, you know.
And that's where the fear comes in, because you don't know which officer is pulling you over.
Yeah, it's Russian roulette, man. You're absolutely right. It's Russian roulette. You don't know who's pulling you over and how bad their day is, or how afraid they're going to pretend to be of you, or whatever, you know. And you just never know who's pulling you over. You're right.
Nope.
You're lucky if you get a guy that treats you with some respect, like he did you, Des. You know,
right?
In most cases, no matter what you're doing, you know, even, you know, Mr. Castile, you know, in Minneapolis, you know, he was complying with the officer, being a gentleman, did nothing wrong, nothing wrong, and was shot in front of his 3-year-old daughter.
Right.
And that cop didn't even get convicted, by the way.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah.
No.
And you hear nothing about it anymore. There's not even talk about it. I mean, I'm telling you, hear about it when we bring it up.
Because there's no pressure on them. That's why. You don't put no pressure, they're going to get away with whatever they get away with.
Yeah.
All right, Laura Michelle, what's up, Laura? Laura Michelle said, she said, wow, what did I walk into? LOL. I get kids moved away from me because of my tattoos. Maybe you have tattoos of black people on your top, Laura? Maybe that's Kevin, Gina, our #1 fan, says to ask you to smile. I don't know why she said that. He already said smile, Kev. Michelle Henson said, all my pullovers by white cops have been fine. Now two black ones is a different story. But I'm still nervous these days, regardless of their race.
Yep.
They want to be blue, so that's all I see.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be,
absolutely true.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we didn't mention. What's your name? Let's see who's up here. Laura Michelle mentioned it over there about mental illness. That's another thing we didn't even go into about how cops respond when they're on a mental health call. Like that's another show maybe, but that's a big thing. And a lot of people are dying because they don't know how to respond.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I go, we want to be wrapping it up while we blew through an hour. If anyone wants to be on the show, we're going to be putting the link in the chat, and you're welcome to come on and talk. And if you have an opinion, no swearing, no calling names, no using the N-word, only us can do that.
Please.
I don't even know that.
Privileged Negroes here.
Yeah. But if you want to come on this, send a message, put it in the chat that you want to come on and join the panel, and we would happily allow you to come on and view your opinion. And one of our shows coming up, we're going to have I don't know if people see the show as we're down on white people. I had a couple of, but they were Trump supporters who said they thought our show was beat down on the white man. And I mean, I don't think our show is about that at all. And,
guilt.
Yeah. I don't feel that from our show. And other white people have told me they don't see that about our show. But it's mostly Trump supporters who see the show as
That's right.
Michelle, I know Michelle Henson says she tries to stay in the chat. Yes, Michelle, I know you like to watch from afar.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yes. And sending up prayers to DMX's family and children that he makes it through.
Oh yeah. DMX, one of my favorite rappers. If you guys haven't heard, he's in a coma. He's in a vegetative state in the hospital, and it's looking grim. So if you believe in the power of prayer, please feel free to go ahead.
Another example of a brilliant, mind that's just been affected by drugs. Because when you're on drugs, don't mean you're a bad person.
Exactly.
It means that you got caught up and you have this addiction now, and you fight with it forever. It never goes away. You fight addiction forever,
Right.
Sometimes you heal for a couple of months or a year. That addiction is always there somehow, man. He's been struggling with this for a while, so it's sad because he's brilliant, he's a brilliant mind.
Yes.
And it gets everybody. I mean, it can get anybody, if you can get a guy like DMX and get anybody.
Right.
Absolutely. So prayers to his family, his children.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
So yeah, Michelle Henson's asking about DMX. Yeah, he's in a coma. So you can Google it and read the stories about DMX. So we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna start with you, Tanya, Desi, then Preach, and Kevin, and your final thoughts on the Chauvin trial, and you want to talk about the psychological effects this has on Black people, or anything you can add to today's topic.
Okay. So just my final thought is always if someone or a group or entity is not doing you right, don't spend your money with them. And then 2, as far as the trial, I hope that the jury sees what we all see, because if they're not, I'll be praying for Minneapolis. And that's true. And, our young people that are out here watching, just do everybody a favor and don't give up hope. We believe in you. We know you can do anything you want. And just because all the images you see now are not really good, stop watching television and stop playing those games and start working on your gift and your craft that God gave you, because you're special and you're divine.
That's right.
Desi?
Specifically with this weekend, with Easter being tomorrow, I was thinking on a religious term in relation to white supremacy. What I want us to do when we evaluate our relationship with God is that realize that we should come to our own relationship and not rely on what we've been taught, because it's a recycle of a recycle, the traditional religion. So when we're faced with something like Chauvin trial, we question everything evil versus good in the world and how we're going to recognize or how we're going to navigate this. What I want everybody to do is use your common sense. Think about what is productive to you and figure out how to go forward mentally dealing with what you might come to face with, like a Chauvin type officer, and how you're going to proceed with that. And that's when things happen in the world, what we have to do is like mental karate. You got to imagine the attack coming and how you would counter it. And that's the only way that you'll get through this mentally healthy.
Mental karate.
Mental karate.
Yeah. All right. Preach.
I'd like to, talk about some stuff that happened with the CDC this week, because you remember, and you know me, I like to talk about the zombiosis and things that happen with the COVID and coronavirus. And I've been talking about it for a year. People that have seen this show know I talk about the zombiosis. And this week, the CDC has come out with warnings about zombies. So they finally caught up, and I'm glad, because we need to be prepared. All right? They've said it. I've said it. So now you know it's real.
I take it you're not getting vaccinated.
See, we still haven't decided is the ones that get vaccines that become the zombies, or the ones that don't get the vaccines that become the zombies. That's still up in the air.
All I can tell you, if you got a nano shot, I don't need it. Thank you.
Yeah. What I don't understand is how they can go from, remember Dr. Fauci was saying it's going to take 3 years to develop, 3 years to test, and then another 3 years before they actually roll it out. And they compress that into less than 1 year.
Well, I saw the NYU doctor saying that he just never seen a study go that quick.
Yeah.
Because they probably didn't do all the studies and research. I have a friend that works in medicine that does like researching of things. He goes, that was way faster than he's ever seen it happen.
Yes, it's unprecedented. In fact, that's why they made the thing that you can't sue if anything happens to you. That's why they made that, because it's unprecedented.
Right.
But
Yeah. So if you turn into a zombie, you can't turn around and sue them because you turned into a zombie. There you go.
well, we'll talk about that. That's another show.
Kev, any final words?
Yeah, I am thankful that myself and nobody in my immediate family are one of the 500,000 plus people that are now gone from this planet because of coronavirus. So I did take the vaccine. I'm scheduled to get my second shot on April 15th.
Okay.
I'd rather deal with being a zombie or the after effects of a vaccination in my arm than deal with
the actual virus,
coronavirus, because I've seen what that has done. I've lost personal friends, friends of mine's relatives, or one of my best friends' ex-wife just passed away from coronavirus last month. So, I mean, it's really hit close. I had an uncle that barely survived it, and he's not the same. Here's a guy who's never been sick ever in his life, and he's now almost in a wheelchair, and he had coronavirus. So yeah, it's, you know, I've seen the worst of it, so I'll take my chance with this shot. Now, as far as the George Floyd situation, man, it was a heavy week, as we said earlier. I don't think it gets any better. I think the defense is going to do everything to assassinate his character. We have to be strong and just, you know, live through it. I don't think a lot's been made. As I think one of our people watching the show said something about the black cops. There was an Asian cop that sit there and watch. There's a lot of, you know, Stop Asian Hate going on right now, but there was an Asian cop that stood there and was part of this whole thing. You know, he sit there and watch George Floyd be murdered, you know, and he has his trial coming up too. I'm not saying that to, you know, put anything on Asian people, you know. I'm just saying, how can a guy who knows, as an Asian American, you know racism because you dealt with it, you know, just like blacks deal with it, Hispanics deal with it, Asian people deal with it on a regular basis too, as we see now at the forefront. So Asian cop showed no empathy, showed no remorse, and did nothing to stop what happened to George Floyd, and that's troubling to me. Yeah, man. So it's gonna get crazy as this trial goes on, man. And I'll be tuned in every day. Everybody, it was a great show today, and look forward to our next week's show and our Tuesday meeting. All right. Peace and love, everybody. Thanks for watching. To all the fans out there that watch the show.
All right. So Michelle said she's getting her vaccine. Michelle Henson. Glendine Carter said she's undecided. So you have two different sides of the coin. Donna Haygood asked, how's my dad? My dad's back home and doing fine. I'm actually leaving to go to Barbados on Monday for a couple of weeks to spend some time with my dad. So yeah, Donna, he's back to normal. You know, when I call this is how my dad and I greet each other on the phone every single time. I call my dad answers hello. I go, hey dad. Hey, my son, my son, my son, my son. How you doing, my son? That's how my dad greets me every time. Nice. Every single time. Every time. And I love it. And I can't imagine a day or a minute without my dad. But we both know it's a circle of life, so nothing can prepare you for death. But
well, he's still here, brother. So that's
he's still here. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I can go before, so you know, I mean, I'm not taking that for granted. Gina Fiore or Numero Uno Fano, if that's mission statement for My Italian Therapy. The mission statement: helping you rise up against addiction, anxiety, anger, depression, fear, and illness. and go to www.myitaliantherapy.com. Gina is a survivor of breast cancer that metastasized, I think it did, and she's still here. I don't remember how long ago it was, Gina, but go to myitaliantherapy.com and get some tips from Gina on how to beat or fight, at least fight to the end any of your illnesses.
Yes.
She's had some success with it, so it's not just a book that's trying to take your money. 1997. Wow. 1997. Wow. Fought off cancer. Apparently, the doctors with all the knowledge and the $2 million education loans had given up on Gina until she found My Italian Therapy. So kudos to Gina. We love you, Gina.
Hey, Gina.
All of you for watching the show. Michelle, Donna,
Nima.
Grandma was there.
Laura, Michelle,
cousin Russell,
Clark. I call him Clark because I only see Russell CLAR on the screen, and I've been calling him Russell Clark. He said my name is Clark.
British family out there.
Charlene Ford. Let me grab a couple more people to thank. I think I already thank Norma Staley. Thank you so much, Grandma. We got to have Grandma on the show. We promised to do a show where we talk about she can tell us what it was like back in her day with all that. Because I can't imagine, like, we're here bitching about, and they couldn't even walk on the sidewalk, or, you know what I mean? Like, if a black person went to a store to buy a hat, they could not try the hat. They couldn't try on any clothes. They couldn't try on shoes, not even with socks.
Absolutely.
Imagine that, not even with socks.
Yeah, she said she would do it one day with the camera off. She would do it.
With the camera off?
Yeah. Because, it's hard to tell her about lighting and stuff. You can't.
Right. Okay.
So
thanks to all the people leaving comments. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah. Lisa. And
thank you. Lisa Osborne, thank you so much.
That's me, Marissa
Mancini. Hey, Marissa. Happy Easter. Patricia Felix. I didn't get any videos from Patricia this week, but that's okay. Maybe Kevin yelled at you. You know how guys are. Patricia, I want you talking to that nigga, man. Don't be sending him no shit. And then he goes on, hey,
be very well.
I'm sorry. You use the N-word. You use the N-word. You use the N-word.
You get it.
Guys,
already told her Carl's been stealing my hats.
Yeah. Yeah. Nigga stealing my hats, man. Don't be talking to him. All right, thanks everyone for watching the show. Please,
thank you guys.
If you get a request from Cinco Negro, that's us. Black. Also, check us out on YouTube. We're trying to build a platform on YouTube. So please check us out on YouTube. Anything I'm missing? If anybody wants,
you are. Hey, Preach, what's next week's show?
No,
next week, if nothing catastrophe, if there's no catastrophe that happens during the week, we were talking about Dr. Sebi.
Well, we stopped. Oh, well, we stopped that, but okay.
Well, no, actually, we didn't stop it. See, we didn't stop it. What we do is we allow for things to happen during the week, that are more pressing, and we're able to have a flexible schedule where we can slide that in.
Well, we're gonna have drama this week. We already know that. It's America.
Hey, before we go, how did Easter get to be about bunnies and eggs and laying eggs? How did it get from Jesus? Anybody know?
That's another.
Well, that's a miracle in itself that rabbits don't usually lay eggs. So when you have someone lay their hand upon a rabbit and allow them to lay eggs that are chocolate, then that's a miracle. That's a miracle.
It's really because it's a mixture of a fertility ritual where the rabbit was always known as being the most prolific regenerator of life, and then they just married it with Christianity, the resurrection.
Oh wow! Dang, you learn something new every day.
And cash. Buy them bunny and them eggs, not free.
I didn't get how he went from Jesus ascending into heaven to a bunny rabbit laying chocolate.
Like Christmas is his birthday, but you get a present.
Yeah, Santa Claus. Yeah. Okay. So Michelle Henson's excited about our Dr. Sebi show.
Yes, everybody.
So
Get some sea
Gotta
moss.
do a lot of research. Be ready for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Get your
So Desi, you actually dropped some knowledge because Gina didn't know about your explanation for the Easter and the bunny and all that stuff either. Like, so you
I have a lot of useless knowledge. I'm like the Cliff Clavin of black people. Yeah, ain't none.
The sources.
all right. Thanks everyone for watching the show.
Yes, thank
really
you, guys.
appreciate it. Please tell your friends. Please like, share, tell everyone about the show. We're here every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast. Thanks, everyone. You guys have a good night. Have a good Easter. And
Happy Easter.
Subscribe.
Love you. Yeah, like, subscribe.
Yes.
And tell the people you love that you love them. They don't know it. They're not psychic. Okay. I know you think you're showing it, but they want to hear it. Just say, I love you if you love them.
Yes.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
I got a child for her and I got to run.